All right, New Year's resolutions, did you make one? And if so, have you kept it so far? When most people make their resolutions at the start of the year, generally we sort of find it has something to do with health and wellness, because we know this is obviously so critical and important in our lives. And here we are, sort of well into the first term, and the year is well into full swing. And I guess before the year really gets away from us, it's a really good time to check in and ask ourselves, how well are we looking after ourselves? and it's a bit of a question, I think, sometimes too, because once we're busy, we actually do need to take that moment, take a breath, and actually just recollect how well are we looking after ourselves. And for those, I guess, who have actually kicked off the year with the New Year, New Me outlook, it's a really good time to actually also to ask yourself the question, how have you actually made your success sustainable so you don't reach burnout? So today we are so thrilled to be speaking to Cherie Rivas, women's health and wellness coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Rachel. Thanks so much for having me today.
I'm honoured and thrilled to have you after this chat. And for everybody watching, Cherie's going to be sharing top tips on how we can actually create balance for our mind, our bodies, and our souls to keep the success sort of going right throughout the whole year. So, Cherie, for anyone that hasn't maybe heard your story, maybe give us a little bit of an overview as to what prompted you to start your business and how you sort of got there in the first place. That would be great to know.
Okay, so I'm a corporate escapee, Rach. So I have worked in the past some very senior management positions in both the local government sector and also the vocational education and training sector. But because I was so focused on my career and not focused on my health, I experienced pretty much a lifetime of roller coaster weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain. And in my lifetime, I have lost over 30 kilos, between 30 and 40 kilos on at least 3 occasions in my life. So I finally reached a point in my life. My little boy came along, well, he's turning 8 in May. So when my little boy came along, I knew that I was going to be embarking on parenthood as a single parent. So that was a little bit of a wake-up call to me that it was finally time to start looking after myself and my own health and wellness, because I wanted to be an actively engaged parent, and I wanted to be fit and healthy, and I wanted to be able to be a good, healthy, strong, fit role model for my little boy. So I basically knew that everything that I had ever done in the past in terms of, extreme dieting, extreme exercising, those strategies didn't work because I never found the moderation to maintain that sustainably and consistently for the rest of my life. So I knew this time around I had to basically change everything that I'd ever done before in order to make my changes sustainable and for the long term. So my experience, all of the learning that I've had ever since has naturally evolved to now become my business as a women's health and wellness coach.
And I think this story is so common for so many people that I guess women, that we have to be able to sort of divide our energy between our family, our careers, all of those things, and then we put our health and our wellness last, and that obviously can actually cause the whole up and down sort of cycle, I think. So it is a very, very common story, and you've gone through it, as you said, sort of 3 times. And so what an incredible sort of story to be able to tell your clients and help them through all the different things. And I'm sure you went through things every time as well, like different case scenarios. So look, I mean, there's so much in it. So I'm just coughing. So much in the article that we published, and it's don't burn out before you even begin. We've got our 3 key questions, but just before we get into those, maybe just give us a really quick overview of the article, and then we get straight into the questions.
Sure. So this particular article, Don't Burn Out Before You Even Begin, basically gives some of the biggest mistakes that I find so many people making when it comes to making changes to their health and to their fitness, their overall well-being. So just outlining what those biggest mistakes are and how you can actually, try to avoid those mistakes. And I give the best, what I believe are the best strategies for making those long-term changes.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's get into question number 1. So,
all right.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that many people make when it comes to getting their health on track?
Right. So I believe that the biggest mistake that most people make is wanting to change the world overnight and wanting the instant results. And more often than not, their goals are outcome based. So they're wholly and solely focused on the outcome. They want to lose 20 kilos. They want to fit in a particular dress size. They want to look, divine for a particular event. So they have the outcome in mind. And when people have the outcome in mind, they basically fall into an all or nothing thinking pattern, and they want to change the world overnight because they want to achieve the outcome as soon as they possibly can. So all of a sudden they're going to the gym 5 days a week, or they're exercising excessively for hours each day, or they're changing their entire diet overnight. They're cutting everything out. They're depriving themselves of all of the things that they love in order to lose weight. So it's that whole mindset of changing the world overnight to get the quick, fast, immediate results, which basically it requires you to rely on willpower. And willpower is a finite resource. We only have so much willpower. And when we're relying on willpower as opposed to changing our behaviors and embedding new habits, we burn out. Not only do we burn out mentally from relying on our willpower to stick to the new diet, to deprive ourselves of all the things we love, to, get to the gym on time, that's emotionally, mentally draining. And, not only is it mentally and emotionally draining because we're depleting our willpower resources, if we're exercising excessively when our bodies haven't had time to become conditioned to those new physical expectations, we burn out physically as well because our bodies just aren't accustomed to those energy requirements. So
the whole
that's why we fall off the wagon. We fall off the wagon. We're so exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically that it's so hard to get back on track again.
Well, I think that leads perfectly into question number 2. What's your best advice for someone who's planning on making changes to improve their health? So instead of doing that all or nothing, go 100 miles an hour, the wedding's in 6 weeks, I've got to get from a size 12 to a size 8 because I saw this dress, it was on sale.
Yep.
I have to get into it. Otherwise, nothing to do with the wedding, all or nothing. So what's your best advice for someone who's planning on making changes to improve their health? Opposed to that?
Oh, take a breath. So my best advice that I can give is we want to try to focus on creating and establishing better habits. So rather than focusing on the outcome, and yes, it is important to have that big picture vision or that big picture goal in mind, but when it comes to actually setting your little micro goals, which will align ultimately to your big picture goal, focus on process or habit-driven goals. So rather than just have a goal, I will lose 20 kilos in 10 weeks, think about the things that you need in order to do that. So have a goal that is more related to the habits or the process of getting to that big picture goal. So instead of, I will lose 20 kilos in 10 weeks, have a goal of I will exercise for 45 minutes 3 times per week.
Okay.
Or
actually going to do as opposed to what the outcome is. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, actually define what your behavior is going to be. I will reduce my alcohol intake from, 3 glasses each night to 2 glasses each night, or I will go for a 10-minute walk every lunchtime. So actually have your goals clearly established that will set your behaviors that will ultimately allow you to achieve the outcome.
Yeah.
And I mean, most people are familiar with SMART goal planning. So have your goals being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based.
And you've got that
Sorry, Rachel.
Yeah, there's the SMART goals you've actually got outlined in the article as well.
Absolutely, because I think when you've got your goals clearly set out, and particularly if you have daily or weekly goals that you've actually written out, at the end of each day or at the end of each week, you can actually go through and you can tick them off, and that becomes your new form of instant gratification. That the fact that you can tick off, yes, I've done that today, or yes, I did that 3 times this week, rather than get to 10 weeks and you kind of reflect and you think, oh, okay, did I achieve it or did I not achieve it? But 10 weeks is already gone. So if you keep your
do you tell your clients to keep a diary of their activities? Is that something that I don't know that you do?
Absolutely. I believe that it is so critical to actually block out some time in your diary in order for you to have that focused time for self-care. And I mean, self-care can come in many, many different forms. Yeah. But I mean, even me, I've been on my own health and wellness journey now for 6 years. And even now I still have on 5 times a week written in my diary, my gym time. It is there. It is blocked out. It is, for me, it is non-negotiable time that I am dedicating to my own self-care, to my own physical health, to my own mental well-being, because for me,
it's taken out and you easily can fill in that time with something else. Yeah.
Absolutely. There are always things going on around us that demand our attention, that want to be prioritized. But ultimately, it comes back to the fact that we need to make ourselves a priority. And unless we have that time absolutely locked in the diary, of course, other things are going to demand our attention and we're going to get distracted. But locking it in your schedule, it's there, it's yours, hold it sacred.
Yeah, and a lot of people that are super busy, and everyone is super busy, but they, have studied a lot of this sort of stuff, and they say to live your life by your calendar, because if it's in the calendar, that's it. You can never take anything out of the calendar. You can move it, meaning
yes,
time slot, but you never can actually take it out. So it's something that's non-negotiable, and we live our life by our calendar. So that is an awesome tip. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Straight into question number 3. So what are your top 3 diet tips that people can action today to make positive improvements to their health? Please tell us.
Okay, really, really simple. It's got to be simple, because if it's too complex, people just it makes it too hard. My number 1 tip is water, staying hydrated. It is such a simple, easy thing that we can all do. Cheers. That we can all do to maintain good health. So many benefits that come along with just beautiful, fresh, clear water that's not laden down with syrupy, sugary gunk. Obviously, our bodies need to be well hydrated to function efficiently. At a cellular level, we need to be well hydrated. The other benefits that come along with water are the fact that, it helps our bodies to detoxify, to get all the nasties out of our system, helps us. Also, it acts as a natural appetite suppressant. So if we're feeling hungry, our brains don't actually know whether those signals that it's receiving from our stomach is actually hunger or thirst. More often than not, it's actually thirst. So when you're first feeling those first pangs of hunger, have a drink of water as your first little strategy.
A lot of dietitians I've ever heard over the years too have said that if you're trying to sort of to lose weight and that sort of thing, before a meal, have a glass of water before you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Have you? So is that the right thing to do? Do you think?
Yes, most definitely. About 15 minutes before your meal, have a nice big glass of water, and that is also going to prevent you from then overeating or overindulging at the next meal. So definitely. Also, great thing about water also is that because it hydrates at a cellular level, it can diminish the signs of aging. So all of those tiny little lines in the face.
We need to hydrate. Yeah, definitely. Our skin.
Hydrate. Absolutely. So my second tip, get moving. You're born to move. Get your body moving. It is so important for a happy, healthy, active life, is just to get your body moving. So if you can, try to aim for 2.5 hours of activity, of physical exercise every week.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're new to exercise, if you haven't exercised in a long time, jumping straight into 2.5 hours of physical activity is going to be a little bit of a stretch. So just ease into it. It might be a matter of, a quick 10-minute walk every lunchtime, and slowly build up. Allow your body to become conditioned to those new expectations or demands that you're placing upon it. But that would be my number 2 tip. Sorry?
To be kind to ourselves, because I think going back to what you were saying originally, when we are sort of at all or nothing, we are not kind to ourselves at all. We are sort of actually working a little bit sort of against everything, in the sense that we're wanting to lose weight, but there's too much at stake. But what you're saying is to actually to do this and to ease into it, and that is sustainable from a long-term perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, definitely getting if you're wanting to make those changes towards a healthy lifestyle, just easing into it. And as I said earlier, it's not about changing the world overnight. It's about finding those things that can create big outcomes, but in themselves are really simple things to do, like having a drink of water. It's such a simple thing to do. Focusing on staying well hydrated every day is a simple thing to do. Focusing on going for a walk at lunchtime is a simple thing to do. So it's taking those small steps consistently that over a period of time can create the most significant changes.
And
so
things that actually make people happy. For example, like I know Zumba's a little bit out of sort of fashion per se, but still, that's something that if you enjoy doing, you're more likely to do more of that and more sustainably long term than doing a type of exercise that you don't actually like. Do you suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I love getting down to the gym. For somebody else, it might be a walk around the block. Put the headphones in, crank up the tunes, and off you go. So yeah, it's definitely about finding those things that you personally, that lift your spirits. It's got to make you feel lifted and make you feel proud of yourself for the fact that, hey, I actually did that, and hey, I'm making a few improvements.
And I guess in just ensuring whatever it is that you choose, actually raising your heart rate as well, would you say as well? Actually having a heart rate at a certain level as well.
Definitely. If you can get your heart rate up to between 50 and 70% of your maximum heart rate, that's where you want to get it.
For sustainable. All right. And tip number 3, which you have.
Tip number 3, look, I'm a huge advocate of trying to fit a rainbow of color into your day. So when I'm talking about a rainbow of color, that's all to do with fresh, beautiful, fresh living produce, the life-sustaining food that is full of health and medicinal benefits for our bodies. So if you have a look down at your local grocery store or fruit and veg, you'll find that fruits and veggies basically come in 5 color categories. So you've got your whites, you've got your purples and blues, you've got your greens, reds, and oranges and yellows. So if you can, during your day, make sure that you have selected fruits and vegetables from all of the 5 color categories. You are basically guaranteeing yourself that your body is getting the full range of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and all the good things that your body needs. So that would be my tip number 3.
And it's sort of just that working smarter, not harder thing too, because when we're eating all of those healthy foods, we're putting sort of antioxidants into our system. This is going to carry the oxygen around our bloodstream, and without even knowing it, you actually are more energized because your body actually has more oxygen within it. But when we're eating all of that bad processed stuff without even knowing it, that's acidic, and that's actually working against us, and we're going to work even harder to be able to get ourselves feeling better and feeling energized. So it's a whole working smarter, not harder philosophy.
Absolutely.
So it's just Well, look, you've given us some incredible insights today, Cherie, and we're so grateful for your time. Now, if people want to sort of to find out more about you and how to utilize your services, or to learn more from you, whereabouts can they find you?
Okay, I have got my Facebook page, which is probably the best first port of call for me. So you can search for me on Facebook, Cherie Rivas, Women's Health and Wellness Coach.
Yep.
And then there's also my website, which is www.cherierivas.com, and they're the best places to find me.
And your article titled "Don't Burn Out Before You Even Begin" is the an introduction to this video today. We're so grateful for your time again. Can't wait to chat with you soon. Have a fabulous day and much love. Mwah. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Rach. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.